Hi, I'm Clinton Jones, Michigan State University College Hall of Fame in football and track and field, and also National College Football Hall of Fame. We were national champions in 1965 and 1966. You're watching Duffy Doherty's Milestone Minutes with Tom Shanahan. Go Green!
Hi, this is Tom Shanahan, and welcome to Duffy Doherty's Milestone Minutes. And my co-hosts are both Leah Kamana and Bob Apiza, Michigan State graduates just like me. And our two special guests are Rustin Young from St. Louis. Rustin, raise your hand. And Kakai Burnett from Punahou. Kakai, give us a nod. All right. And so, after 40 years, the Hawaiian pipeline has been retapped. No school had an adopted state like Michigan State and Hawaii. It was a special relationship, and that was because Duffy Doherty and his friendship with Tommy Kalakukui Sr. Recruited players from Hawaii when it was a sleepy outpost in the 50s and the 60s. And it turned out 11 players, 10 under Duffy, and one more, Carter Kamana, under Muddy Waters. But otherwise, the Michigan State coaches squandered the foothold we had in Hawaii.
Let me just say a couple of things here, if I may. The guy, he done us very great pride for people of Hawaii. We started this thing half a century ago. And when I was up there, you know, he was marching for civil rights. And for those of us who knew bad times, hard, being able to be accounted as we have civil rights then. But we had two other guys with me, Dick Kenny and Charlie Whittemire from Punahou. Dick Kenny's from Iolani. And I well respect the competition. That's the Buffalo Blues from Punahou and Crusaders from St. Louis offer on a daily basis, or not on a daily basis, but on a seasonal basis. Back in those days, we played in the Interscholastic League of Honolulu. And I know that great competition. And that's why I went to Michigan State. After certain offers, my offers down to Penn State. They didn't belong to any conference. SC with John McKay, and I decided to go to the Big Ten. The Big Ten is the best conference there is, in my estimation. And you two gentlemen, you two young men, have a lot to experience with life up there. I know that you're going to enjoy your experience up there. I know you're going to meet lifelong friends, networking friends, but it's different from back home in Hawaii. And the fact of the matter is, you have to get used to the cold. Okay, but that's one of the drawbacks of being up there. But the fact of the matter is, you're gonna play top-notch football, and with Coach Smith. Shan Smith, and with I talked to Lengy Suyao Noah, the defensive line coach. We have a lot in common. We're from American Samoa, so I spoke to him in my own native tongue, and he understood everything, and we conversed. But he's a nice man. And I saw Leah up there, and she's a former Spartan herself in journalism, and she's doing very well with KITV, and we're very, very proud of her. All of us here on the mainland. I live in Las Vegas, and what you see me is I'm sitting in my room with the Spartan head behind me and my Hall of Fame picture behind me as well. But it doesn't make any difference what kind of honors you have, as long as you represent the people right. You represent the surname that you have behind your uniform, and you represent Michigan State. But foremost, you represent your family, and you represent the green and white. And win or lose or draw, you enjoy that experience big time, big time. So I admire of you, and I think you're going to do very, very well. And thank you for picking Michigan State. That's it.
Yeah, and Bob was the first college All-American from Samoa. And you guys, when you get back to the mainland, it's nothing unusual for Samoans and Polynesians these days. They permeate football across the country, coast to coast. But when Bob was there, it was very unusual. In fact, the reporters used to ask him, "Where is American Samoa?" They didn't know when they came to his locker. Yeah. But when Leah's dad, Carter Kamana, committed to Michigan State, kids in Hawaii thought of Bob Apisa as, the godfather of Polynesian football, the way kids of your generation think about Marcus Mariota and Tua Tagovailoa, which is why I say Michigan State's coaches squandered their foothold in Hawaii, because Hawaii had adopted Michigan State as its team when Bob Apisa and Dick Kenny and Charlie Wiedemeyer were playing for the national championships. And Leah, of course, followed her dad to Michigan State. She graduated. She's back in Hawaii. Leah, give us your thoughts on these guys following in the footsteps of the Hawaiian pipeline.
Rustin, Kikai, I'm so happy that you guys are choosing to go to Michigan State. None of us need an extra excuse to cheer for the Spartans come football season, but it definitely helps that we have like an extra reason now. I always have my Michigan State flag outside the house. So does my dad during football season. And we're just so excited to have you guys joining the Ohana and represent up there. It's a great time. And I'm really excited that you guys are going to continue the tradition on.
Of course, and then the story is you guys were originally recruited by new Michigan State coach Jonathan Smith when he was at Oregon State. And then when he came to Michigan State, you guys decided to come with him. Now that you guys are just about ready to graduate and pack up and move to the Midwest, I'll ask both of you, but kind of give your comments about finishing up your high school days and looking forward to going to Michigan State.
Yes, sir. Very blessed to be a part of, Puno, get into Puno. Playing along my friends. Kind of wish that I had a couple more games to play with my boys, but it is what it is. But I'm excited to go up there to East Lansing, make a name for myself and represent my family, my hometown. And yeah, I'm excited to put on the Spartan jersey.
Tell us about Coach Smith. What attracted you to him, and then what attracted you to Michigan State?
So I chose Michigan State because Coach Leggy. I built a great relationship with him, and I like how he coaches. He always starts the best guys are always going to be on the field, and that's what I really like about him. He's also a great coach on the field, and a great person off the field, and also Coach Smith too.
I know that you went to visit Michigan State. I think was it December of last year? What was your initial thoughts? You got to see it in the winter, so what was that like for you?
Oh yeah, it was definitely cold. Yeah. But the food is good. That's one thing that really stood out to me. The food. And also the people, very nice. And yeah, my family really loved East Lansing. Um, we got to bring my family that lives there or in South Bend. They live in South Bend, and we got to bring them, and they had a great time. And yeah, it was just a great experience. And
50th state of Hawaii. Carter is the very last recruit that we've had, and he's played well. He's done very well. He's a great athlete. And his brother John and Squeeze, of course, his dad, is named after him. But you know the Kamanas are fabled in the history of Hawaii. And so are the Weedemers, and so are the Ka'ulukukuis. And we honor that. We respect that. And those of us who matriculate to go to Michigan State, we do the best to uphold that honor. Because I remember playing in that 10-10 tie, witnessed by 33 million people between Notre Dame and us. And we looked at each other. Dick Kenny looked at me, and I looked at Charlie Whitmire. And all we had to do was make eye contact with each other. You know, it's one of those things. Local boys. And then we looked at each other and said, whatever you do, don't make ass. Do well. Just do the best you can. And you gentlemen have a great opportunity to go up there. You'll love the atmosphere. The people in Michigan are great. I've always had a great time with them. And but we just want to congratulate both of you guys for being a Spartan, and you are now full-fledged men of Sparta.
Hey, Rustin, when we lost you there, we were asking Kakai, ask you the same question. Talk about finishing up your high school here and what your career meant to you, and your thoughts as you're packing up and getting ready to go to Michigan State.
Shoot, honestly, a little bit nervous, but shoot, I had a good year. I believe a lot happened that worked out for me, and I believe it was all God that allowed me to get to where I am now. Packing up everything, leaving home was a little bit of a yeah, like I said, just a little bit nervous to head up, but can't wait. Excited to play some ball up there in Michigan State.
Yeah. And talk about how you guys got to know each other training at a gym in Honolulu, and you were perfect for each other because you could match up as an offensive tackle and defensive end. So you were not only good workout partners, but you became friends and have cast your future together. Talk about that process, both of you.
Oh, shoot. First time I ever met Kakai was on the field. I think our junior year. It was my first year playing O-line, and yeah, we just never really know much about him. Just to me, he was just another D lineman that I had to play against. But after going to the Ikaika Athletics, I got to meet him, got to know him, went against each other basically almost every day. And after getting to know him, we became good friends. Noticed our personalities really matched, and yeah, it was just a good time getting to know him and hang out.
Kakai, same thing.
Yeah, both of us going up against each other at Ikaika, we got better, iron sharpened iron. But yeah, I got to know him, and I found out that both of us is very similar. Don't like talking to other people that much, but yeah, he's a great guy and great football player, and yeah, I just love hanging out with that guy.
Okay, great. Well, we're kind of doing this as a public service because of the 40-year gap. I don't want you guys going back to Hawaii and not knowing about the Bob Apisa and Dick Kenny and Charlie Wiedemeyer playing in the game of the century. And I especially don't want you to know about Michigan State's comeback win at Ohio State in 1966. Final score, Michigan State 11, Ohio State 8. Michigan State's points were scored by Bob Apisa on a 4th-and-1 touchdown, Dick Kenny on a field goal, and Charlie Wiedemeyer on a 2-point conversion pass from Dick Kenny, who was also a pitcher on the baseball team. And the headline in the Honolulu Star Bulletin the next day, remember, Hawaii didn't have Division I football until 1974. So the Spartans were Hawaii's adopted team. The headline in the Star Bulletin, Hawaiians 11, Ohio State 8. So you guys needed to have that story. And as it came down to the end of the game, it was a muddy field and it was 4th-and-1, and the call was for Bob, and he made a dive into the end zone. You guys have any questions for Bob about playing in big games like that in Big Ten stadiums? What kind of advice he can? What do you want to ask him?
Shoot, Uncle Bob, can you tell us more about the 4th-and-1 drive and that 2-point?
Yeah, they're talking, Bob. Hold on. Go ahead, Rustin.
Can you tell us more about that 4th-and-1 drive and the 2-point conversion, and like the overall drama between the big Ohio State game?
Situation. It was a rain drenched day. Punch it over in order to maintain our number 1 ranking. And 10 months prior to that, I played in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. And I was stopped a yard short of that 2-point conversion. And I had to recalibrate everything in my mind. Am I going to repeat that same horrible experience, or am I going to win this game? And I chose to win it, not only for myself, but also for the state of Hawaii and the people. Dick Kenny was elated. Charlie Wiedemeyer was elated. Lucy Wiedemeyer. But it just goes to show, when you have an inch to go over that line and stick the ball out, break the play into the goal line, meant that we were able to get into that 10 tie, which was witnessed by 33 million people across the country.
All right. And Bob, they should also know about Duffy Daugherty. Tell them what made Duffy Daugherty such a special coach and special person.
Duffy, sure, I think, Smith and the staff. Duffy he's in the Collegiate Hall of Fame as a coach, but he treated every one of us from Hawaii, and he went to south of the Mason-Dixie line at that time at African American ball players because of the Jim Crow era. And we brought George Webster from Anderson, South Carolina, Jimmy Ray from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Bubba Smith. He went south of the Mason-Dixie line to get Bubba Smith from Beaumont, Texas. But it was the spirit of the time that we were honored to become a full-fledged citizen. And civil rights meant a lot to us. It meant that we could vote. I couldn't go back to the 50th state and vote. So we stayed there. But it was just a joy to know the experience of being a full-fledged citizen. And you two gentlemen, you'll find that the people are very, very, very accommodating. They're very nice, and they I in my lifetime, and I can say this right now, you made great choices to go with Coach Smith from Oregon State to Michigan State. It's the greatest conference you're gonna find. It's the best competition and everything. So you're fine.
Okay, and then Leah, you made the transition from Hawaii a lot more recently than Bob or I. Well, I didn't come from Hawaii, but I like to think of Hawaii as my adopted state. But you made the transition a lot more recently than Bob. Give these guys an idea of what they're in for, what to prepare
Ooh.
for.
Well, Kikai said he loved the food, so I think that's half the battle. I will say when I got to state, they had just started redoing all of the dining halls, which did elevate the food to a whole nother level. But one thing I always missed was rice. So I'm not a potato fan, still not a potato fan. I like to have my rice. So if you guys can order a rice cooker from Amazon, you are allowed to have a rice cooker in your dorm room. So order that rice cooker, have like a Tupperware or something so you always have your rice with you, because if you're like me, potatoes just aren't gonna cut it for most of the time. Fall, which of course fall's the best season because of football, but it's also the best season because it's just absolutely beautiful on campus. So make sure you guys are spending some time outside, just really getting to see all of that. But winter, you know, the snow, it's great. And you're gonna love it because you'll get to come home and get away from the snow for a little bit. But it gets old real quick. I would say probably the thing that I learned pretty quickly, but I was not prepared for was, you know, I wanted snow. I wanted all 4 seasons. And I bought some winter clothes and I was like excited to get to wear my big jacket and everything, but I wanted to play it cool because all of Michigan kids didn't pull out their winter clothes until it was way too cold for this Hawaii girl. And I tried to not wear my winter clothes for as long as possible. Don't be dumb like me. If you cold, just just pull out the warm clothes already. And layering, people say it's a thing. I still don't like to do it, but wearing a tank top and board shorts and slippers and just throwing your winter coat over it, you're not going to be warm.
There you go, guys.
You're not going to be warm. I made that mistake one too many times. I think you do have to do the inaugural, you know, pull off the Hawaii kid thing and try to wear your slippers to class one day in the snow. But don't do it every day.
Okay. And then I understand that you and your dad, Carter, were able to get together with these guys, kind of a welcome wagon event. Give us your impressions of the two of them. And I'm sure your dad's even scouted them out in football a little bit.
Well, we're super excited. You guys, I mean, Tom, I haven't seen you in a long time, but I'm small. And these two guys, they're big. They're definitely gonna represent playing at Michigan State. Their size is definitely gonna help the Spartans. I'm super excited. As Tom knows, I have 3 brothers who've all played college football, and I kind of watch the game based off of whatever position they play. So knowing that you guys are going up, I'm gonna have to start watching the game based off the line. Because I'm gonna start watching where the 2 of you are at constantly. I know you guys are gonna represent good. We're super excited. I think you guys have a really strong chance of making a name for yourself and getting some playing time on that field. I can tell that you're both like strong, hard workers, and you have that, like, you know, island mentality, kind of chip on your shoulder. And the program's changed a lot since I was at state, but that's one thing I always associate with Michigan State football is that chip on the shoulder, the underdog mentality. And I think coming from the islands, we kind of have that same drive, because we kind of look at ourselves kind of in the same way, as that, you know, we got a lot to prove. We know we can do it, but sometimes people like to overlook us. And so
Yeah.
I think if you guys bring that to practice every single day, you're not going to get looked over. No chance. And you guys will make a name for yourself. You're going to get in that starting lineup. It's going to be great.
Great. Okay. And we'll start wrapping up here. But first, I got to tell you guys about how Bubba Smith, one of the greatest players in college football of all time, 6'7", 285 pounds, was the speed of a halfback. And as the winter approached, Bob was still walking around in his sandals. And Bubba told him, "You got to start wearing shoes. It's going to get cold." Tell us how long, the two of you guys, give us both your thoughts on how long you can hold out against the cold weather with sandals. Rustin, go first.
Shoot. I don't think I'll ever be able to give up the slippers, honestly.
Kakai?
Shoot. I don't know.
Play it by ear, huh? Bob, tell these guys about switching from sandals to shoes in the winter.
Change of the seasons. Fall season beautiful. The leaves change in the colors. Winter, just don't wear slippers. In Hawaii, we call them slippers instead of go-aheads up there. But the fact of the matter is, what Tom was talking about, just the proper attire for the different seasons. And I'll be able to finally meet both of you along with Coach Smith this fall. September is it 28th, Tom, when they play Ohio State?
That's correct. Yeah.
So I'll be up there along with Jimmy Ray, and we'll be able to personally.
Yeah.
And I do know that this fall, or this spring, or this fall, depending, those of us, the 5 two-time All-Americans, along with Bubba and myself and Clint Jones and Gene Washington and George Webster, along with Duffy, they're building a statue of the 5 of us along with Duffy. That's a great honor for a kid from Kalihi. Okay. To be standing on a statue, and it'll be in front of the Spartan Stadium for all. But that's a testament to my teammates. It's a testament to where I'm from, Hawaii. It gave me my will and to excel. And we play ball down there. We play ball in the 50th state, and that's why they recruited you. And I'm very happy to see both of you up there. I'm looking forward to seeing you and meeting you personally.
Okay. Yeah. And you guys are going to get back there. And a lot of Michigan people might tell you that you're newcomers, but you'll have to remind them. We all want you to know, Leah, Bob, and I, and others, we all want you to know you're part of a Hawaiian pipeline tradition, and everybody that came before you is excited that you guys have signed on for the ride. Any final comments before you go off to college and put on that green uniform for the first time, Rustin?
I'm just grateful to be able to go up there and represent Hawaii and just to start up the pipeline again.
Kakai.
Yeah, just very thankful for this opportunity to, go up there and represent my family and state. And yeah, I'm just excited.
Okay, Leah, bring us home.
You guys are gonna do great. Don't be nervous. Just be yourselves. People will love you. Just, have that aloha spirit constantly. And just name drop Uncle Bob. It'll get you far. I promise you.
All right, good advice. All right, thanks for joining us on Duffy Dorda's Milestone Minutes. And we'll learn more about these guys as the season approaches. Guys, thanks for joining us.